So yes, this is an electric toothbrush, and while a lot of you aren't going to be in the market for one of these very often, I saved the unboxing experience so we can kind of experience this together for the first time, and I'll come back to you guys in about a week or so, just to give me a chance to actually see some of it in action and actually give you a more realistic opinion of if it's worth it or not. Now, they list a lot of really cool features with this toothbrush here. If you want to pause the video and read some of them off yourself, you're more than welcome to. Now, the main reason that I purchased this was because of this reason right here, Type-C charging. And there aren't many out on the market that actually support this. And if this is the only feature that matters to you, like it does to me, then keep watching, because doing a quick Google search and checking the subreddits, there aren't many out there that actually have this feature. Other than USB Type-C, it comes with 4 personalization brushes, so they give you a clean, a soft, a polish, and a facial brush, which is kind of nice. They give you a cable, USB Type-A to Type-C, but they do not give you an actual brick to charge your toothbrush. And in addition to that, I do want to say that the claims in the reviews that I found online and in the subreddit, etc., do claim that you can use a Type-C to Type-C cable as well as a Type-A to Type-C. And why is this important? Well, Type-C to Type-C means that it supports USB power delivery, so you don't have to carry a Type-A to Type-C cable just for your toothbrush when you're traveling. You can use the exact same cable to charge your phone, your tablet, your Switch, any other Type-C accessory you have, and your toothbrush. So you don't have to carry around a bunch of proprietary connectors when you're traveling, or worst case scenario, you lose your proprietary charger, then you got a brick on your hands. So it does come with a pretty nice case as well, and there are a couple of colors available. I have the white one here because that's just the color I prefer. And the price on Amazon at the time of recording is about 33 bucks, so it is pretty cheap relative to the competition. Just as a frame of reference, I'm coming from a $100 Philips Sonicare toothbrush, so I'll use that as my frame of reference as I go forward. So with that kind of background information set for you, I figured we'd go ahead and open this right now. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors here. I've been waiting about a week or so to open this and actually take a look, so let's do it. And I apologize for the crappy autofocus on my webcam here. Clean that up a bit, get it to focus for you. Okay, there's no seal at least, that's good. You can just kind of... It's like air suction. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. If I can get this to autofocus, sorry guys. Okay, just more packaging under here. More packaging, get rid of that. Type-A to Type-C cable, as I mentioned earlier. Little manual, we don't really need that. And our facial cleaning head, interesting. We'll just stick that over there right now. We'll get back to that. There's our box. What do we got in here? Let's take a look. Okay, clean, soft, and polishing head. And I assume in this hard plastic case, very nice to see. This actually feels better than the one my Philips came with. Let's see if I can open this. There we go. So yeah, you got a little clamshell for a couple heads if you want to travel. And if I can get this out, our toothbrush itself. Alright, so I was able to get all the heads out, and they do give you a clean and a polish and a soft, like I said, but to be honest, they all feel about the same. There's not really a major difference. I've never really been a believer in buying specific toothbrush heads for specific uses. A toothbrush is a toothbrush, so you can just take any, toothbrush head, and it should just push on like this, and there you go. And then as for the facial head, I'm pretty sure it's just for like your tongue. It feels like a soft rubbery material, so you just kind of use it on your tongue if you want to use that. Me personally, I'm probably never going to touch it, but it's there if you want to use it. Now, after playing around with it for a little bit, it is unfortunate that one of these knockoff toothbrush heads from Brushmo that I use on my Philips head does not fit the Soocas. So you are going to have to buy different toothbrush heads to actually work with your toothbrush, because the head is a different shape than what Philips uses. This is the same shape, it's just a little bit bigger. So, and I'm sure there are third-party ones out there. If I find any good ones, I'll be sure to link them in the video description for you guys to take a look at for yourself. Okay, we're back, and I just want to demonstrate here the power of the Type-C charging port, and that the Reddit and the reviews that I read were in fact correct, that this will work with a type A to C or C to C cable. So to access your charging cable, you just come over here to the bottom, and there's a little pull tab here, if I can show you. There's a little pull tab here on the bottom, and you just get your nail under, peel that off. If I can show you guys here real quick. And there's a type C port underneath. So first we'll use the included cable that it came with, which is a type A to type C. I would be shocked if this didn't work. We'll plug it in, and you can see we're charging. There's a red light blinking, which means it's charging, so that's great. And the big question is, does my type C to type C cable work? And this is just a charging cable from one of my old Google Pixels that it came with, so we'll see if this works as well. So we'll plug that in there. And our light's blinking, so we got charging there as well. So yes, it does in fact work with USB Type-C charging. Okay, so while that's charging, I thought we could go over some of the other cool things about this toothbrush. As I said, the price is $33 on Amazon at the time of writing, and it has a nice case that I showed you before, hard case for traveling. And again, the biggest selling point of this, well, it's even cheaper than things like Oral-B and Philips Sonicare. You have a USB Type-C charging port. So you can, like I said, take your phone charger, charge your phone, your AirPods or earbuds, Nintendo Switch, and your toothbrush. And ideally, you go out and you purchase things like razors and all those things. So then you can just have one cable for everything. So you don't have to keep track of a bunch of proprietary cables and risk losing them. In the manual, they do say they don't recommend using the toothbrush while it's charging though, because it could lead to things like reducing its lifespan and obviously lead to electric shocks. You want this little door closed while you're using it, which is my guess why a lot of toothbrush manufacturers use wireless charging. Here, I got one from my Philips. Most toothbrushes you buy will have a charger like this, where it's just a little wireless charging. This is from my Philips toothbrush. You just stick it, you stick the bottom on there, and it wirelessly charges so that there's no risk of water ingress or water getting in. But as we've seen with things like smartphones, you can have a Type-C port and still be waterproof, because this toothbrush is actually listed as IPX7 water resistant, and it still has a Type-C port. So I don't really buy the fact that you have to have some proprietary port, or better yet, the proprietary Philips port that a lot of people like to point out in one of these, because you lose this cable, you're pretty much SOL. So I love the fact already, I haven't even used the toothbrush yet, the fact that it has USB Type-C means a lot to me, and probably a lot to a lot of you too if you're watching this video. So while this is a lot cheaper than my Philips toothbrush, which came in at about $100, I am still expecting quite a bit, because this, as far as I know, this Soocas brand is part of the Xiaomi brand, who is a Chinese brand that sells smartphones and a whole bunch of other tech. Not so much here in the US anymore, but around the rest of the world, Xiaomi is quite a popular brand. So my only concern is finding replacement heads that work for this. And looking through Amazon, there are a few, not quite as nearly as many as, say, for Philips or Oral-B, but you will still be able to find replacement heads without too much trouble, either first party or, as I like to use, cheaper third party ones to save yourself some money. So I'll let that charge up, and I don't want to give you guys a recommendation without actually trying it first. So I'll let this charge up, give it a try for about a week or so, and we'll come right back here and I'll let you guys know what I think then. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, so now that this brush has gotten its fair shake, I just want to give you guys one final quick summary of what I do like and what I don't like. Real quick, we'll do this bullet point style just to make it quick. Things I do like are, of course, the star of the show, right under here. USB Type-C charging. Really one of the primary reasons you'd buy a toothbrush like this over some of the bigger brands, because like I was showing you guys earlier, you can just take your phone charger or a laptop charger, or even plug it directly into your laptop or your phone and give this thing a charge. So very, very, very handy, not just for traveling, but just to keep your countertops a little less cluttered as well. So that's obviously the biggest one. Another thing I really liked about this is, just like most electric toothbrushes out there, it has a built-in 2-minute timer, so you're going to get 30 seconds on each quarter of your mouth with a very noticeable pause in vibration, a different tempo, so that way you know when to move to different sections of your mouth. So that's another nice thing about this. And I know it's only been a week, so I can't really speak completely to the longevity of this battery or the power of it, but I haven't noticed any drop-off in power. And the battery indicator hasn't changed from green since I fully charged it before first using it. So that is a good sign so far. the case. This is a very, obviously it doesn't fit all the heads that you get, but this one, again, like I said before, I never see myself using that, so. But you got a great holder here. It's actually better quality than the one I got from Philips. Again, that was 3 times the price. It's a nice hard plastic case. You can fit your toothbrush in there, a couple heads, and you're good to go with traveling. Bring along a phone charger, and that's all you need. And of course, for only $33, there are going to be some things that I don't like. So again, real quick, we'll do this bullet style. First thing I really don't like is that there's no Type-C outlet included. You get an A to C cable, which is fine, but you don't get a brick either. And of course, you need a brick to be able to charge this. So having a power brick, even if it was Type A, would have helped a little bit. But of course, that would have raised the cost. And most of us presumably already have, like I do at least, a bunch of old phone chargers. Like the one I demonstrated earlier was from a Google Pixel I had way back in the day. Another thing I don't like about this toothbrush, it's harder to find third-party heads to fit the toothbrush. Because again, this is not as popular as a brand as something like Philips or Oral-B. So there aren't as many third-party makers, but they do still exist. So it's not a complete loss. Again, the Soocas brand is, I believe, a subsidiary of Xiaomi. And we've all heard of Xiaomi. They do make a lot of things, phones, all sorts of home electronics. Another thing I don't like, while it's not impossible, they do recommend specifically in the manual not to use this while charging. One, obviously, there's a possibility of getting water in here, right? This is kind of an open port, so that's why this flap is here to be closed while in use. But the manufacturer also says that these toothbrushes shouldn't be used while charging because you could prematurely degrade the battery. I don't know if that's really a major downside because I never would really use a toothbrush while charging anyway, but they do warn you, just as a disclaimer, not to use it while charging. And finally, this is probably my #1 gripe with this. It's not the heads, it's not the fact that there's no cable, but it's the fact that it's harder to tell how much battery life is remaining. And as I was demonstrating before, there's a very small LED indicator here at the bottom right where my finger is that only has 2 colors, green and red. And it'll be green pretty much when you're anything above critical battery, when they say plug it in. So it's not really easy to know at a glance how much battery you have left. While my old Philips toothbrush actually had 3 LEDs side by side, so you could actually at least get a rough idea of how much battery you had left. Of course, the best thing to have would be a readout with percentages, so you can just look at it and say, okay, I'm at 82%, or I'm at 33%, maybe I should plug it in. But of course, that would raise the cost, and again, this toothbrush is only $33, so we do have to keep our expectations fair. But that is my #1 gripe, is that I don't know when I'm close to getting to red, because it is about 4 hours, they quote, to charge from 0 to full. So with all my likes and dislikes out of the way, I'm going to say yes, this toothbrush is a winner, and it is one I would definitely recommend if you're trying to do what most of us tech heads are trying to do, and USB-C all the things. So this is another thing you can add to your collection of USB-C devices, so you can limit your clutter, use one cable to charge everything, and frankly just carry fewer cables, because it's really annoying having a proprietary cable. It breaks, you lose it, and then your item is useless. So this is great. I definitely recommend it for $33. It's pretty much a steal in its category and its price range. So definitely something I recommend. Link is in the description below. Guys, thanks for joining me. Leave any comments you might have below, questions, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. So see you guys next time.